My name is James Catania. I'm 28 years old. To whoever finds these recordings, be aware. We're out there somewhere in hiding. This is one of the few recordings to be taped. I'm going to try to get all this done in one sitting. So try to bear with me here as I go. I don't really know too much how to work these computer things, but I'm going to try my hardest to explain what exactly happened. Hold on a minute. Okay, I'm back. So anyway, yeah, I'm James. Jimmy to all your friends. I mean, no one's got friends anymore, right? I mean, everybody I know now is dead. Seen a lot of fucked up shit in my day, but let me tell you, I never saw anything as fucked up as what I've been seeing going on right now. Back about a few years ago, my family was involved in what the government called organized crime. I was born into it. My father, Louis Catania, ran one of the last New York families before shit hit the fan. When I was, when I think back on it now, it's really like something out of a movie or like a video game. The mob versus the monsters. Vampires, creatures, and God knows what else is out there right now. I never killed anybody that didn't deserve it, though. I guess I was more of the black sheep. Maybe that's why I was spared. I don't know. Or maybe we're in hell right now and we just don't even know it. I have a little cigarette over here while I do this. Alright, so, where were we? I was out one day with another one of the earners for the family. We were holding a truck for one of our connects to come pick up, loaded with goods. I mean, computers, all that type of shit. We had apples, Alienware, everything else that could run a missile from New York to California. But mainly it was the shipment that stowed about 100 different firearms we were waiting on. It was locked up secretly in the truck. We were going to go pick that up. Word hit on the radio that Manhattan was being bombed, that they thought it was another terrorist attack. It got our attention real quick. I mean, we'd be damned if we were going to let those fucking sand-loving jerk-offs do it something to our city again. And, up in Manhattan was being bombed. Literally, we know that there was just something else that the government was trying to cover up. They were covering up something for what they were really doing. There was something bigger and far worse than anything the world had ever seen, living under the Big Apple. And it's funny to say something like that with all the stuff that I've been through in the past few years. I never thought anything could be worse than what I saw. It ain't no fucking alligators living under those sewers, let me tell you. What was living under the city was something big. Miles below the Hudson River was ancient. It was a killer. It was a secret world.
What if the world around you was a facade? A curtain pulled over your eyes to hide the true nature of what surrounds us. Secret societies vie for power against one another while combating the evils that threaten our existence. This is the truth within the secret world.
Welcome, listeners, to the second broadcast of the Tempest Secret Cast. I'm your host, Scrivean. I'm joined by my co-host and the guild leader of Tempest Syndicate, Illuminati faction, Varnz.
Hey, guys.
So, Varnz, what do you think this week? Any exciting news or anything you've seen out of TSW?
Not too much as far as exciting news. I have found some open form stuff on weapons and whatnot, the skill points, how much it would take to unlock everything and for a full build. So, been reading through that.
Oh, good. That sounds good. Yeah, see, I didn't know if you had, and I forgot to talk to you about the show, so this isn't an ambush. I didn't know if you had seen, you know how Deimos and those other guys had played the Secret War on Facebook? Yep, they played that. Well, apparently I played a little bit of it. I didn't play much. But if you finish that, they send you an email or they send you a link or something, and it started an alternate reality game. Have you looked at that at all on the web or played any of that or looked at the videos?
No, I haven't actually looked at any of it. I did sign up to play the Secret War, but I didn't really play it because my Facebook's completely separate from my gaming life.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do after the show tonight. Go to the website funcom.com. Go to the website, and as soon as the website loads, click on the screen, anywhere on the screen, just not on a link, and hit the number 33. All right, and it launches into this alternate reality game. And they're already through. They did phase 1, and now they're in phase 2. It started on the 2nd of June. I'll talk about that in my other podcast, Tempest Gamecast. But you're going to love it. And I don't want to go into too much about it because I want you to play it and experience it. And oh my God, the stuff we love about the Secret World that you and I have talked about with the the puzzles and the videos and the web pages and all that, it's all there. This is your fix when there's no beta going on.
Sounds interesting. I'll have to go check it out, though. Without spoiling anything, what is it kind of like?
What it does is the first video, you get a quick video clip. It's a flash video file that opens up, and it shows you a video, and it's a woman talking on the phone. And of course, it's like any of the Secret World stuff. It gives you some clues in what she's saying, and then you get through the video and you click on the link in the video, and it forwards you to a page that they've created, and it gives you hints. Like there's a piece of paper there. There's some stuff written on it. There's some runes. There's 2 $1 bills, and then there's like a computer login screen on the left side of the screen. And what you have to do is look at the clues, go back and look at the video, and they give you a clue at the end of the video, and you kind of put that stuff together, and you go to some phantom websites, and they're websites that are created that could be anything from like genealogy and looking for dead people and tracing family roots to travel agents to Men in Black. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So you follow all the links, and some of these are false alarms or false trails, and you basically are trying to piece together the puzzle as to what is this woman talking about. Where is it leading you? And you're trying to follow what's going on in this alternate reality game. And so it's kind of like that. It's kind of like the investigation puzzles, basically.
Sounds interesting. I'm going to say right now it's Isaac Clarke in the kitchen with a lead pipe to Bali.
Lead pipe to Bali? You think Isaac would be that messy with Bali? I think he'd be more of a finesse kind of guy. I'm thinking Isaac Clarke walking with Bali over the bridge. Bali mysteriously falls off into the water.
Yeah.
Could be.
It could be. With Isaac, he might be trying to hide the body of a wood chipper.
Yeah, there's that too. You go with the, what is it, the Fargo?
Yes.
Fargo theme. Okay. Awesome. Cool. With all that, let's jump into character development is our first section.
Nice.
Jacinta, I'm headed out to do the podcast.
Okay, honey. Do you have your gear?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do.
Let's check. Fist spikes?
Check.
Katana?
Check.
Axe?
Check.
9mm?
Check.
Browning shotgun?
Check.
Sig-Sauer assault rifle?
Check.
Blood element and chaos totems?
Check, check, check.
It would probably be better if you just specialize in a select few.
So, what do you want to talk? I mean, what should we focus on? Do you think with this first episode where we're talking about character development? I mean, what area do you want to focus on right now, or how do you think we should break this down?
Well, there's plenty of things we could talk about. some people out there might want us to talk about their style, maybe clothes. We could go into the ability points. There's a lot of different things as far as character creation when it comes to this game.
Well, what were you thinking about when you logged into the first beta, the open beta there, and you're like, okay, I'm going to create my character, and you go through it, and it's kind of limited right now. It's one of the things they're being critiqued on, but we hear, and Funcom keeps reporting back, it's on Twitter and Facebook and everything else. Don't worry about character creation. We've got a lot more coming. We're just kind of not showing everything right now. We're showing you what you need to get into the game. So you'll see generic characters or similar characters running around. But I mean, what did you think? You say, okay, you created your character, you had your look, right? You got your person set up.
Mm-hmm.
You get in there. What were you looking forward to at that point?
I might be a little bit different from most people, but to be very honest, I like very unique style characters.
Mm-hmm.
I like to use things that a lot of people don't use. It's why, like in a game like EverQuest, I would have played something like the Bard because there wasn't very much too many bards that were around.
Oh, no, I hear you there.
But in a game like this where you can customize your classes and stuff, I'm not really too worried about that. Honestly, I was really looking forward to see how different I can actually make my character look as far as clothing goes.
Very nice. Well, one of the things that I looked at, and I was kind of curious and I don't know what it is, and we played those 2 weekends together, and we'll be playing again, and of course after launch when we're live. One of the things that I was drawn to was the assault rifle. And so I thought maybe this week we could start talking about, and over the next couple of weeks, start talking about the weapons themselves. Because, some people look at it and say, well, it's modern day. So in modern, it hasn't been a really successful, or hasn't been a successful modern day MMO. And so personally I was like, okay, I want to have that real feel to it, so I don't want to go all magic. And next week we'll talk about magic, and 2 weeks from now we'll talk about the melee weapons. But I wanted to kind of focus maybe this week, if you're okay with it, let's talk about ranged weapons.
That's more than fine. Dude, I'm a weapon collector, so talking about pistols, shotguns, and assault rifle, sign me up.
Oh, yeah. Which are you looking at the 3 different ones? One of the things you have to look at, or players are going to have to look at, is the good thing is if you open beta and you've got access to the forums, there's already a wealth of information that's been dumped into there. I know I found a guide that I read through after playing the beta. It would have been nice beforehand. Yokai's guide to build mechanics, build philosophy, and newbie build tips, and he also has an advanced build tip. I don't know, I'm drawn. I think in this game I'm looking to play a healer, but I know we can do anything we want, and so I was kind of drawn to the assault rifle. And one of the things that drew me to the assault rifle is the fact that it has, you and I met in Rift, and so a couple of our guild members, or a number of our guild members, also played Rift. It has this ability called a leech, and when I talked to them, and they haven't tried out Secret World at all. It's kind of like what the Chloromancer used to do. It's dealing damage, but returning heals at a lesser rate than the damage you're doing. So you're not necessarily doing as high a damage or DPS to a target as you would do if you were straight going into that. And we know with the ability wheels, you have for all the different weapons, you've got two wedges of abilities, of 7 abilities, 7 passive, 7 active for all the weapon trees, and then there's the outer ring, which we haven't seen yet. The assault rifle is broken down to, it's kind of a damage or healing, or you can mix them. And I was kind of drawn to that because it looks like a new kind of healing. I'm like, this is kind of cool, and I never played that kind of class in any other game. And like you, I want to kind of try something new. I like healing, so I went with this. And I like the assault rifle because it kind of has the ability to do leech heals, meaning that if you set your class up with the right passives and the right actives, when you attack a target and you do damage to it, if you have a defensive target or a person character selected, or if you don't have anyone selected, it automatically defaults to you, you actually get healing returned to you. So, it's kind of a good mechanic, I think, for like guarding tanks or guarding people who are taking massive amounts of damage at a time.
Well, I like it simply because it does deal damage and it heals you at the very same time. It's making it so if they wanted to, they could add in Rager time, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like you're sitting there going, okay, well, Scriv, you're the tank, I'm the healer, and heal.
Correct.
5 minutes later, heal. At least this makes an attempt where it's like, okay, I'm doing damage, the damages, they all have different things they can do. They can peer, they can root, they can do all these things, and if they're adding like little mechanics to the damage / healing abilities, it makes you go through a whole different rotation than sitting there casting the same damn spell over and over and over.
Oh, you're right. And you mentioned one of the things that the assault rifle is partially built to do, at least looking at the initial set of skills you get, is it allows you to put a hinder state on a target. And hindering is basically, in other games, is rooting or snare. So if the tank needs to get away, if the boss is moving, or something's happening, or you need to control mobs or something else, you can actually hinder them. You can either, like I said, root them or snare them in place and allow the tank to get control of them, or off tanks, or however you're doing that. Meanwhile, as you're doing that, you're still able to leech some of the damage return back onto the tank. And I'm assuming when you get into the secondary skills that there's some group leeching in there as well.
Well, from what I've seen so far, like one of the devs has put up like a little blog list that they go up there, and they got what the weapons do and what they can do.
Oh, with the upper levels, okay.
Yeah. Apparently the assault rifles can do hindering, which is root, snares, slows, all that great stuff. And apparently they do affliction too, which is damage over time.
Oh, yeah. Which is good. I mean, again, that lets, you, in this game, you're not necessarily tied into being a straight tanking class. And you and I were talking about this before the show tonight, about the 3 different types of tanks, and we're only going to talk about one of the abilities tonight. I think shotguns a tanking one, right?
No, shotguns is not. Shotguns is actually a support tree.
Oh, okay,
None of the guns in this game actually have a tanking tree to it.
Okay. But you can work them into your tanking build, though.
Oh, of course. I mean, if you were to say, wanted to do, like, let's take WoW, for example. They have the Paladin, which is a tank that can heal themselves. If you really wanted an offset like that, you could take, say, Hammer, which does migration, or mitigation, rather. I always say it wrong.
And mitigation,
and their health.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'd be the tanking part. And then you could take assault rifle abilities where you could do damage but heal yourself at the same time.
Good point. Yeah.
So you're kind of working yourself like a paladin.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
With guns.
Well, going over to the shotgun, then you said shotgun is support. What kinds of things does a shotgun give you? Well, we know the assault rifle is going to give you the longest range. At least when I tried out all the weapons on the range in the weapon selection area, shotgun's the long range, and the good thing is it seems your heals are that way as well. Though there may be some that are around you.
You mean assault rifles?
Yeah, assault rifle. I'm sorry.
Because the shotgun has a very limited range. The real bonus for the shotgun is the fact that if you really think about a shotgun, they're wide bursts. They have cone-like damage abilities that can hit everything on the screen.
So cones and columns also, right? Or do they not? Cones and column damage?
I think so. I know they're supposed to be really strong for single target damage, which kind of had me baffled when I tried out the shotgun, because their ability that uses all their points is a single target, but their regular attack is a cone. Okay.
Now, they also have at least one hinder ability, so they're going to be able to root or snare as well.
They have hindering, and they also have weakness, which the weakness will take away from their armor, their attack abilities, anything that would really weaken a character.
Right, so then basically if you put a weakened state on a target, the target's going to take more damage, it's going to deal less damage, and it's going to receive less healing, which is kind of cool. Shotgun, keep that in mind, and we'll know after the 4th open beta how that works in PvP. The shotgun build might be huge for really debuffing another team.
It could be really good for just, say, tanking in general. If nobody's running around with a shotgun, which in open beta I didn't see really too many people running around, that could be really big for your group.
I agree too. And then the last one we had, of course, is the pistol, the shortest range of all of them, I believe. under the shotgun, or maybe close to where the shotgun is. And that's also, it was a DPS, as you would think. It's got the DPS, and then it also hinders and weakens. Now, in the pistols, you're dual wielding the pistols while you're doing it as well. Did you play pistol at all? Because I've only played a little bit with pistol.
Yeah, actually, I want to say probably about halfway in each of the open first tier trees that they had up there. I was really interested in the drones that they get as a support.
Okay. Oh, so it's like a pet?
It's kind of like a pet. It stays with you. I think it only lasts like maybe 15, 20 seconds or so. Mm-hmm. But it will, depending on which ones you get, there's one that does damage. There's one, I believe, that heals for a little bit. And then there's one that actually gives a support buff.
Right. Okay.
But I'm not 100%.
Well, I think Pistol has one and Shotgun has one as well, a support buff, whether it's, and I'm not sure if it's increased crit or increased penetration or something like that.
I think the shotgun one was increased penetration. The pistol one was
crit.
Yeah, it was crit, and then the assault rifle. I'm not 100% sure. I think that was the hit or something like that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It does. It increases hit. Now, those buffs that they're doing, each of those trees have, affects your entire group.
Oh, yes. So it's very lovely a pop.
So what do you think, then, of those three? I mean, if you're looking as, okay, I'm going to go into this game, it's modern world, so I want to be realistic. And so I want to go in, I want to be a damage dealer. I'm not worried about, if it was real life, and, zombie apocalypse broke out now, or vampires or werewolves or whatever attacked, and I wanted to grab a gun, given the abilities that we know so far, how would you go? Pistol, shotgun, assault rifle?
It really depends on what you want to do. I mean, they all can do damage. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, what do you want to do on the side? If you grab the pistols and the shotguns, you're doing support. Mm-hmm. From what I read with pistols on the open forums, a lot of people are saying it doesn't do the same damage that an assault rifle would do or a shotgun would do. Mm-hmm. But, if you build it up for crit, it does a lot.
Right. Oh, it makes up the difference in the flow of damage.
Yeah, because crit is just increasing the damage it does when it crits. But if you have an assault rifle or a shotgun, they already do the damage that they do. It's just with the assault rifles to hit and with the shotguns to penetrate.
Okay.
So
okay.
It's what you want to do. If you want,
for the most part, it sounds like they still have them balanced for what you need them to do, and we're going to talk about decks here in a minute. So it's basically players can go and kind of feel out, and the way that the game's set up, anyways, you can kind of put your points in a lot of different areas and try out, different builds. Even in the Kingsmouth area, the noob or the beginning area, you can actually play around with a lot of this stuff and kind of feel what's good for your playstyle.
Yeah, and the nice thing, too, is when you look at the first tier tree, it doesn't really require a whole lot of ability points to go into and max it out to see if you like it or not. So,
you'll know.
Yeah, you can turn around and max them all out and see what you like.
Again, I think it's one of the things that appeals is that, with the exception of changing factions and kind of looking at the Templar stuff or the Dragon stuff, we're going to be Illuminati, is that, you don't have to roll an alt. That's going to be, I'm not going to have two Illuminatis. I'm going to have my Illuminati main guy. And if I get tired of using assault rifles, I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick up pistols or shotguns or whatever other weapon I like.
Unless you're trying to hide from people. But then at that point, you might as well just make one for the other faction and see what they're like.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was good on the weapons and stuff. Now, I just want to cover one more thing. Now, we had mentioned states, and the weapons and the attacks that you do put characters in a different state or creatures or whatever, targets into various states. There are also a series of types of attacks, like frenzy attacks and other stuff, and we'll talk about that next week. So right now I want to go back to the states. We talked about afflicted being a dot, and impaired being stunned, hindered being rooted or snared, and weakening, causing all those debuffs on the target to this. Now there's one more, and that's impaired, which none of the, at least in the first tier of skills for the pistol, shotgun, assault rifle, none of them actually impair, will stun or knock down or silence a target that I saw.
Yeah, the impaired mostly comes from the melee and magic.
Oh, okay. So good. So we'll talk about that. Now let's go into some gameplay, because there have been some complaints on forums, various forums, whether it's massively MMORPG or whatever, MMORPG, and they talk about graphics concerns. Did you have any issues, or did you see any issues with the graphics or the animations with the different types of weapons?
Honestly, I did read some things on there. Apparently, what the heck is it? I know there's something on there that's broken for the character animation, where if you actually watch them, their legs stand still, but their whole body kind of twists to the side, so it doesn't look realistic. I mean, honestly,
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think people nitpick a little too much when it comes to graphics. It's kind of like one thing that really bugs me with people. They sit there and they go, "Oh, the graphics don't look that good. Oh, the animations look crappy." People, wake up. This is a beta. You know,
we're supposed to be finding those kinds of things and reporting them, you're right.
Exactly. But people will hold them too much to heart, and then when the game finally launches, they turn back, remember what they see in the beta, and go, I don't really want to do that. It's almost like with Terra, with the graphics. You know, they had the low-end resolutions,
until
then... Yep, and then they launched it, and then they had the high resolutions, and it was like everybody just hit that peak of orgasm,
right? And
because it looks so nice.
And I think Funcom knows about it, and they said that they're addressing the character animations. And in their defense, or what they had said in their defense, was the reason that there's a little bit of a disconnect between the upper body and lower body is because every attack you do in this game, nothing makes you stand still. Yep. You can do every attack running. And so that they had to have this. So it's just matching up the animations of the running legs and you turning and keeping your target targeted or whatever. So especially if you're doing a cone attack or a column attack or an AoE and being able to target and while you're running. And that's what they're working on it. They know about it. It's a known issue. It's been reported. They're working on it. And it's a beta. And it's not coming out for another month. So from today, a month from today's launch day.
Of course, that's one of the things I kind of like with some companies is that they'll take the games, and as much as I want to play this game right now, they push them back so they can fix these things, so the game has a smoother launch than something that's rushed.
Well, what do you think about the skill upgrades? It's one of the things Dimos pointed out, or we talked about with Dimos. Like I said, there's another Tempest member, or one of our guild members, and who loves the Secret World as well. And he talked about there's no skill upgrades. He brought that up. And there's no, you see some games, it's like, okay, I hit level 4 as a mage. I've got Fireball level 1. Okay, I hit level 8. Ooh, I've got Fireball level 2. I'm going to hit level 12. I got Fireball level 3. That doesn't exist.
No, they totally took that out of the game. And quite frankly, I think it's kind of a good idea, just mostly because the way that the weapons tend to work out for the skills is they're not based on, hey, I got Fireball 1, I got Fireball 2, I got Fireball 3. It's not based on that. It's based on what your equipment is and how hard you're hitting. Like,
right.
Like a lot of stuff in MMOs for, like, the melee and actual auto attacks.
Yeah, but, the good thing is you can build up, as you build up your talisman levels from level 1, 2, and 3, and I don't know how high they go. And the same with your weapons to those quality level 1, 2, 3, and higher weapons. Those stats are what affect it. Plus, the other part is putting your skill points in and increasing your damage by 1% or 0.5% or whatever it is each time you skill up, which allows you to use the weapon. So it's the skill points that affect the quality level you can do. One of the things to keep in mind you mentioned to me was about the skill points was, what should you be looking at leveling? And what are the key things to level to move your character forward? Do you remember you talking? With skill points.
Oh, the skill points for that would be you put the points in, you get a little bit of an increase towards things. Really, the way that the push is in this game as far as getting better is just better equipment.
Yeah.
Just getting better over time.
And that comes in with the skill points. And what you had told me beforehand was, or what I was referring to, was when you told me, the thing you got to do is when you pick your weapons is you're going to be putting your points into those weapons is you can't forget your talismans. So, you've got to, it's great if you've got a quality level 4 assault rifle and a quality level 4 thing, but if you're only wearing the first level of talismans, you don't have as much health, you don't have as much crit and any of the other stats. Talismans of the armor, so you can't forget to keep those up. So it's like, ooh, look at me, I hit, I'm doing Kingsmith, I hit quality level 10 assault rifles I can use, but you can't even get in that area. But I can only wear level 1 armor, so I'm still getting my butt kicked in the first instance.
Yeah, that was one thing that, actually I kind of forgot until you just mentioned, was, in the open beta, I was upgrading the weapons, and I had the talisman. I had this really nice talisman. It gave me, 300 more health, 20 extra crit and whatnot. I went to go put it on, and it's just like, no, sucker, you denied. I was like, right. Oh, come on.
And it seems to me like any other game, when you finally realize you need to put those points into that skill point, into that area, the number of skill points you need, and like you need 3 or 4, it seems to take much longer to get those 3 or 4 skill points as opposed to when you're just throwing them all over the place and they seem to be rolling in.
Yeah, those skill points actually have a pretty big impact on your character versus the ability points, and it seems like the very bar that's at the bottom of your screen for EXP is cut up into, I think it's 3 or 4 ability points that you get. Yeah. It's almost equivalent to a level, personally, as far as I look at it. And when you fill the whole...
It's a level-less game.
Yeah. It's a lie. It's a conspiracy.
Quality level.
Yeah. But when you fill the whole thing up, you get 1 skill point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's on the forums, this guy has everything broken down as to what you need for a full build, and he actually has times on here. I don't know how he got the times. I think it's
playing in the other beta.
And yeah, sure. But he's got it on here based on a dev's quote, which is every 5 to 10 minutes you're earning an AP, and towards end game it's supposed to be 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's the good thing about the game the way it is now, is you can actually learn every single skill. I mean, if that's your goal, you could learn every single weapon skill in the game.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome if you're one of those people that likes to switch around classes. Hint, me.
Yeah, so... Well, that's cool. We'll be there to help you through all the instances when you go back and decide you're saying you're not just going to give up 1 weapon, you're going to give up 2, and you're back at level 1, pistols and fists. So we'll be there for you. We're there.
Well, hopefully by then I can keep my talisman so I feel super powerful running through all this stuff.
You don't hit very hard, but yeah, you're really strong. So, now, the good thing is, one of the other things that they put in the game to help players out, because there are, like I said, they talk about there's over 500 skills, and there's 9 weapon types, and the weapons have dual functions, and being able to DPS and heal and support and tank or hold threat and all sorts of stuff. And there's a lot of stuff in there. It's confusing, and in the beginning, in a lot of MMOs, you don't really get a lot of guidance. And what they've done is they've created a deck system. And I'm assuming each of the different classes, well, maybe they're the same, but what we've seen so far in the Templar one, and some examples are, let me see, I want to build a survivability and threat build. So there's a template already set up, and it tells you exactly where to put your points as you're getting your anima points in there. So I say, oh, cool, I'm going to be a survivability and threat, basically a tank. And it says, okay, to be a tank, one of the options you have is to pick the Warlock deck. And it's based around the hammer and chaos magic. And so when you open up your skill points and you go down to the anima wheel, it tells you these are all the abilities you need to do. Now, a lot of them in the decks right now are in the second tier. There are some decks that have some first tier abilities, but in the second tier, so you can't see them. But I mean, it guides you. It says if you want to be a straight out healer, assault rifle blood is you're going to go be a necromancer. And then, some of the other ones like that. So, I mean, it's kind of, for a new character, initially getting your thing, I'm assuming you don't have to do any of those. Like I said, they've said it themselves. You can play any way you want. I mean, you could take 2 different things that people say don't work together. You can make them work.
Oh, yeah. Well, for everything, I mean, they all do damage. So, I mean, if you really want to take, say, chaos and mix it with fist. I mean, it kind of works because they're both melee weapons, but if you wanted to say something like hammers and, let's just say, assault rifle, and make a paladin class out of it, you can make that work. There's no issues.
I think it's one of the highlights of the game.
But the decks, yeah, they kind of hold your hand. They give you an idea. It would be a little bit nicer if they told you kind of like, a little bit of a rotation you should kind of use and why this ability works with this one and so on and so forth. But they're not going to hold your hand.
Yeah, the description is pretty decent in getting you started. The other thing is I'm betting, based on the number of abilities that are in the upper tier levels and the amount of skill points it's probably going to cost to get them, that, if you decide that you're going to build the Necromancer deck or the Paladin deck or the Mercer or whatever, the other ones, and you're going up into those areas, probably about a little bit into it after you've got through the first tier and you start working the second tier, you're probably getting a good idea of what you like and don't like, and you may end up, I would bet a large number of players start changing it. I want to have lightning in mine instead or something like that.
Yeah, plus on top of it, you're going to be learning how the class works slowly. I mean, even if it takes you a long time to get like the next ability, it's hammering out what you already have.
Yeah, learning your rotation.
How you use it, and then when you get the new ability, you can figure out where to plug it in. If you got to take an ability off your wheel, you can do that. It's not a big issue.
And the other interesting thing is we haven't looked at, and we haven't seen yet, and we will after live, is what the developers have reported, that there are abilities in the second tier that aren't necessarily tied to a specific weapon, meaning there might be an ability which increases crit for all party members in the second tier, in Fist, that increases crit for all party members, and it doesn't say you have to have a Fist weapon equipped, which means you could actually take that passive ability, even if you're using assault rifle and blades, and it's still going to have that ability. I mean, you're still going to be able to proc that. So there are those things hidden, and I think that's where you're going to find people really playing around with the deck. I mean, the flavor of the month build is going to be a tough one to keep up, or maybe it won't be, but I'm thinking that it's just going to be somebody's always going to find something better.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a lot of cookie cutter builds in this game, because there's just so much that you have to unlock to be able to sit there and be like, this is absolutely the best build. And on top of that, you got to sit there and build on top of different things. There's 500 different skills in the game. You can have 7 at a time. I don't even want to do the mathematics to figure out how many combinations altogether you can have with that.
Well, the thing is, you take that, and then you throw in other players, and who are you playing with? So if I'm doing PvP or I'm doing PvE, and you're playing your build and I'm playing mine, now we can actually change our abilities up so that we complement each other even more. So that I cause, you may have, this is something we can talk about right before launch, I think, is when we'll get really into weapon synergy. But to give people a taste of it, it's I'm playing pistols and I cause an increase in crit, and I cause the target to become impaired. You're playing hammer, and you've got part of your hammer thing says if you hit an impaired target, it increases damage and has a chance to cause the target to become afflicted. And then it comes back to pistol or fist, my other weapon. It says if the target is inflicted, you increase damage and you have a chance to impair or knock down or stun the target. So, you can have players who play together. And I'm thinking, just think of the ramifications in PvP. If you get a squad or a guild group of players of 2, 3, 4 who all fully understand that synergy between weapons and can put together all those combinations, and you get to watch for the state the target's in, and you're really working together, you're just going to really be tearing people apart. They're going to wonder how they lost or how they got taken out, or you'll be able to take down creatures, more effectively because you're working as a team, working those states on the creature.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a system that's very similar to. I think the game that really pops in my head is the Final Fantasy Online, because they had abilities in there where if you did a certain ability, you could chain off of it, and that's how this game, with their, hindrance, affliction, impaired, weakened, seems to work. If I'm like, let's say like you're using pistols, I'm using hammer, you use like a flashbang ability, they're impaired, where I can turn around and maybe let's say use a hydrant where I slow him, I hit him in the toe or some shit, they don't see it, it works out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get more into it.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see how a party builds on top of one another.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
You're not going to see everyone rolling with the very same weapons at all.
Yeah. So with that, let's talk gameplay.
Citizens of the United States, illegal broadcasts with the intent of spreading disinformation and propaganda will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. News of current events may be found on any approved state-sponsored source. Thank you, and have a good day.
We've talked a little bit about weapons. I mean, that's one of the first decisions you make, is selecting your weapon. And like I said, over the next 2 weeks, we'll jump into Magic next week, and then we're going to talk melee weapons the week after, so episodes 3 and 4. Let's take a step back here and say, okay, you picked your weapons. You get through your cutscenes, you go through your starter city, and they send you through Agartha, Middle-earth, the travel hub, and you go through there, and it sends you to Kingsmouth, the first area. What do you do? How did you feel? Were you lost at all, or was it like, okay, open the map, let me see where I got to go. There's stuff to do. What did you do?
Well, the first thing I did was I walked out of the area that I started in. I saw a zombie holding a sign that said, hey, go this way for free food. I was just like scratching my head, went over there, and there was a bunch of zombies waiting for me in ambush. No, the game's pretty straightforward. As soon as you go out of the starter area and you start walking a little bit down a road, it cuts you into a cutscene, and the guy basically kind of explains how there's a bunch of zombies running around. I got a couple of things that you could do for me, but if you really want to head somewhere, there's a town down the road to the left.
Yeah, so he's guiding you to Kingsmouth.
Yep.
Awesome. And now, when you talk, some of we recently played Terra and we played other games, and they have quest hubs. Did you see how did you find the quest hubs in that first area? I mean, how many there were?
I have no idea. There's a lot of people out there that give out quests. I mean, as far as to find them, there's a little journal at the top right screen that has icons, and you click on it, and it will bring up the quest you're on, and then there's a waypoint that you can go to.
Yeah. I think, I'm trying to remember. Let me look back through my notes real quick. But I'm pretty sure, I think there were nine major hubs, but that's not where all the quests are. I mean...
Oh, you're talking about like the actual main characters that they show up on the maps.
Yeah, I guess I should say it. The quest hub. I'm calling them quest hubs, but you're right. They are the main characters, because you have the sheriff and Dr. Bannerman in the sheriff's office, and you've got Deputy Andy up on the on the roof, and then you've got the explosives guy there. But yeah, you're right. So they're the main characters of the story are the ones that explain to you have their quests and stuff.
Yeah, there's about 9 of them, I would say, on the map, and they're all really spread out. I mean, even if you go from one quest hub to another quest hubs, there might be quests that are like along the road with someone like
severed arm.
Well, like the one there with you have to go gather supplies, and you just find a random body limb just laying there on the ground. You click it, and it's like, we need you to go bring this body limb to the grave, and you're just like, really? Okay, for EXP, I'll do it.
Yeah, and of course, on the way to the grave, you go by the fire department, and there's a box of squids there, and then there's a dead maid, and so it's easily to get distracted. I mean, I think Funcom limited us on the number of quests we can have in our quest journal, but they also provided plenty of opportunities for people to get sidetracked.
Yeah, but the really nice thing about the sidetracks is they're not that bad at all. Where
no,
the phone one there, you had to go to the fire station.
Don't give it away.
I'm not going to give too much away. I'm just saying, you had to go to the fire station, you had to go do something, and then when you came back, you could do the quest because it was on the way back that you could finish them
yeah,
up.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
So it's not really like, hey, I need you to go down this road to the left, and you start going down there, and you find something, and it's like, I need you to go all the way down the road that was to the right. that's out of the way.
Yeah.
Just, you need to go to Grandma's house. It's not like that.
Well, how did you feel?
Works.
Well, when you've played through, I think at least 2 characters, right? Because you started over.
Yeah.
Well, that's I'm going to probably do the same thing again as well. How did you feel about the story? I mean, the story flow itself. We were forced to be Templars, which is against us because we're going to be Illuminati. But we were forced to be Templars. Did you find that the Templar played a lot into the story, or was it really not there? Was it there or not there?
That's kind of interesting, because the way that I really felt was the very beginning of the game, it's all about your faction. And it's like, okay, we're the Templars, this is what we do. And to be quite honest, when I played the Templars, I didn't think they were all like the really goody goodies, because they're just kind of like, you gotta go do this and people need saving and it's contracting your mission. Well, screw 'em, for the greater good.
Yeah.
But when you get into the First Stein area, the guy that's at the camp actually makes a comment about you being a Templar and the fact that all the factions need to work together. After that, I didn't feel like they really brought up the whole fact that you were a Templar at all. It didn't seem like it really mattered.
I didn't either. It seemed more along the lines. I kind of went with the storyline of the guy who told us, or the commander there, Templar. I forget his name, because we haven't seen him that much.
Yeah.
but that he told us to go here, and we're helping clean up an Illuminati mess. And it felt like it. It felt like we were in Illuminati territory. There were quests that dealt specifically with Illuminati symbology. With Illuminati, the faction, with all that stuff. I didn't see much Templar. I mean, maybe that's the way that place is supposed to be. We're going there to help them clean up a mess.
Well, I think they're also taking a real-life approach to it. I mean, it's not like you're walking around with a badge on you saying, "Hi, I'm with the Templars."
True.
You're a regular guy that's going out there, and one dude happens to peg you out as far as what you are. The rest of the people, I don't think they really give a damn as long as you're given a helping hand.
Yeah, it's I think the Funcom had put out that comment amongst the 3 factions is the 3 factions will argue and bicker for control of being able to run the world, but they'll unite to ensure, or they will unite in a single cause to protect the world, because if the world isn't there, they have nothing to control. So they'll work together to stop evil, but they still don't like each other.
It kind of reminds me almost of like the cartoons with Superman and Lex Luthor, when there's a big threat out there that's going to destroy the world. Yeah, they team up, and then once they're done teaming up, they kind of backstab one another. Or at least Lex Luthor did. Yeah.
Yep. Well, what about the fact that your number of quests are limited? Did that keep you? Did you find that you were more focused?
To be honest, yeah, it did make me more focused, because it was like, okay, I got 5 quests I can do right now. Let me see where the main story is. Okay, it's 200 meters out that way. Let me see where one of my side quests is, and it'd be like, okay, it's 50 meters out in the same direction. Let me go hit that first, hit that, go to the next one, hit that, do the main quest, and come back and hand them all in. And then he'd be like, well, I need you to go out to like the Arena Bay or something like that. You go out there and it starts a whole nother chain. It didn't feel like there was too much in the same area to do, but it didn't feel like it was too little.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel as grindy as I have felt in other games. Which takes me to another thing. When you get in there and you're taking the quests, all the quests that I took, or most of the quests that I took, had a cutscene. Now, you and I, we played together. We played Star Wars together, where we had lots and lots of cutscenes and movies. And then we played Terra. We played Terra, and they have cutscenes. Did you skip any of the? Did you find yourself skipping any of the cutscenes, or did you? I think I did once or twice, and then realized that I had missed a clue, and I never skipped again.
I think there's a couple I did skip. I think it was mostly around the time when the beta first started, and like I think it was you and me that grouped up together, and we're just kind of like, okay, let's go do this mission. There was like cutscenes that were coming up, and I was figuring you were skipping, so I was skipping, and then it was kind of like, oh crap, what is it that we're supposed to go do? So I myself stopped skipping.
I did too, and it's as easy as, because the cutscene may tell you to go do one thing, and you look at the quest like, okay, I got to go kill 20 zombies, got it. in 4 different types and run over and do this. And then and this isn't one of the quests, but it's just an example. It says, okay, but to kill the zombies, you have to kill them with the flare gun. And you run out there and you run, okay, there's the wet zombies, let me kill these guys. And you're hitting them with the assault rifle or your fist weapon or whatever, and not getting credit. And I'm like, why the hell am I not getting credit? And then you go back and realize the cutscene, she handed you a flare gun, and I'm making this up. She handed you a flare gun specifically so they could test the abilities of the flare gun. It's like, oh, yeah, I missed that. So I spent half an hour killing zombies or doing something when I could have been on to the rest of the storyline because I didn't read the question.
Well, that quest I talked about last week when you went down, you had to kill, like, different types of zombies and how
Yeah.
I got lost and whatnot. She tells you where you have to go.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, go behind the house, kill those ones. There's a campfire, go kill those ones. There's water nearby, go kill those. I skipped that cutscene. I didn't know what
I
to
remember
look
that.
for.
You were asking, like, damn it, where the hell are the slow, dry zombies?
Yeah, that was driving me nuts because I was going behind the house looking
It's
for
the other side of the map
Yeah.
from the other areas, yeah.
It's not really the other side of the map. I mean, there are some that are over there on the
not always,
opposite
yeah.
side. But I was going behind the house, killing those ones. Those weren't it. I was going down the beach. I was killing those ones. Those weren't it. I went on the street itself. I'm like, there's got to be zombies out here that are dried and whatnot. I killed them, and those weren't it. I can't remember if they're on the edge of the beach or if they're, like, on the left side of the house where I didn't even bother that there was a graveyard over there. No, it was behind the church. That's what it was. That messed me up.
Yeah. Yep.
And she tells you.
Yep. Get out. So, and my recommendation is watch the cutscenes. You're probably not going to find yourself releveling alts. I mean, you might, one for each faction. And the third time would be much easier because you'll probably pick up quests or finish quests that you didn't the first time through. First time, I would watch them all and listen to what they say and look at the pictures and follow the clues. It just makes it so much. One, it's more fun. I think it helps with the immersion. And then it certainly helps completing the quests.
Honestly, man, it helps with the atmosphere. It makes you really feel like you're kind of in there. Like, one of the quests makes you go get security cameras, and most games are like, yeah, we gotta go get this and that. She made me feel like they really need the security cams to up the fence of the camp.
And then you test them. I mean, you can pull the video feed up on the cameras.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
when
really
you can do little things like that, and they allow you.
I mean, it's just some good attention to detail on the programmer or the developer's side. Are those little things that you can see the reaction. I mean, you can see the ability later because once you've completed that quest, you can go back later to that one's from the sheriff's station. You can go back to the sheriff's station, and you now have the ability to pull up the security cams, which you don't when the cams are before you complete the quest. So I mean, it's that kind of little bit of attention to detail that makes it fun.
Yeah, it's almost like logging into the computers because you can hack into them apparently, and you can read like little informations on some of the characters. Like, I'm not gonna
some clues in there, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's one character in there where you gotta kind of go talk to him, and if you hack into the PC, you really understand his mindset because he gets arrested for a couple of things in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was good. Well, we'll continue this next week. I want to talk now. Let's talk about we had an interesting story this week for our real news story of the week. You know, that proof that the secret world exists.
Yay!
Well, what did you think?
I thought it was interesting, but it's not really surprising to me. I mean, the story was about Bigfoot, and honestly, there's a lot of science for Bigfoot, but nobody's captured a real picture
ever
of. Well, I wouldn't say ever, but I want to say there's no real proof of saying, hey, you know, this is real. We have a corpse.
I think somebody.
Thing.
Yeah, one, you never find a corpse, right? You always find the proof. I saw a funny cartoon the other day that said, I think Bigfoot in real life is fuzzy. That's why you never get a good picture of him. So, well, the story we're talking about came from a website called the Daily Mail, and it's a UK, so it's dailymail.co.uk, and it was posted on the 31st of May, and the headline is, Did a group of high school students capture images of Bigfoot in Idaho? And apparently a group of high school students were out in Idaho on a wilderness class project in Franklin County near this area called the Mink Creek. and they said they noticed a dark creature watching them from the ridge. And so they tried to got some pictures of it and this and that, and it didn't look human-like, and they're saying those kinds of things, or it wasn't a moose or that. So they ran up there and took a picture, and apparently got the, of course, and there's some snow there, and there's a big footprint. I mean, it looks like the classic Bigfoot picture of the Bigfoot. I mean, it's a giant, Bigfoot kind of doesn't necessarily look human, but maybe humanoid, or bipedal at least. And so they talk about this. So yeah, that was our news story if you wanted to look it up this week. And so, do you have any thoughts on that one, Varnz? I know, again, there's no proof. We haven't seen anything, but, there are a lot of sightings.
Well, of course there is. And people, being out in the woods and stuff, people are going to see what they think they see, and sometimes it's not what it is that they do see. It's almost like watching an episode of Ghost Hunter where someone can walk up to another person and go, "Can you smell that? That smells like, maybe a cigarette or something." Yeah, and it puts it in their head, and then they sit there and they smell the air, and it's like, yeah, it does smell like cigarette, and the other guy can be like, I just made that up out of the blue just to see what you would say.
No, that's true. That's true. So I understand we have a new section we're adding in to the podcast, and it's the Varnz's question of the week.
Yes, because I was doing this for other people. I was doing it for Negative Gaming, and I was doing it for the Tempest cast for a little bit. And I figure I just asked a fun question that's towards this game. And the question this week is...
Which I have no idea what it is.
Yes, because that's what I like. I already knew right out of the blue what my answer was going to be, so it's not cheating for me. The question is with the three factions that are in the game, you got the Templars, you got the Illuminati, and you got the Dragons. Right. If there was another faction out there based on any movie, TV, anime, anything, what faction would you input into this game?
Wow. Having not thought about it at all, I don't know. I'm kind of... I don't even know... Let's see, because the Illuminati are the puppet master kind of guys. The behind the scenes, stay hidden, accumulate wealth and power, and they kind of pull the strings and take no blame.
It doesn't matter as far as their backgrounds go. I mean, if you want to pick something that's very similar to Illuminati, go for it. But it's just what kind of faction would you like to see in this game, possibly, that might be a subculture to, say, Illuminati or something?
Yeah, I'm stumped.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I am.
There's plenty of factions out there, man. I can think of a couple.
I don't even have anything coming up. What do you got?
Personally, if I had to put a faction here, it'd probably be the from the anime Hellsing, which is it's an organization that goes around. They try to keep everything really under wraps. But it's kind of like an oxymoron because their main focus is they go around, they destroy vampires, and the head guy...
Von Helsing? Based on Von Helsing?
Not Van Helsing. It's based on Alucard, which is the son of Dracula, and in some tales it is actually Dracula himself reincarnated. And with this organization, they go around, they hunt vampires, but the dude that goes and hunts them happens to be a vampire himself. So they're using what they're actually killing. I see where you're coming from this, because then you're talking about the factions of. If you look at shows like True Blood, or even Twilight, though I'm not a Twilight fan. But those kinds of things where the underworld creatures exist, and the Secret World says the same kind of thing, that the underworld creatures exist hidden. You're saying allow factions to come in where there may be members of those underworld factions, kind of working to keep peace as well? Well, you can look at it as that as too. I mean, you could look at, let's say, a faction like Umbrella. They caused everything in their world, and they're trying to cover
in the Resident
everything
Evil
up.
world, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different factions I can think of. I can also think of the ones from Underworld, the Death Dealers. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of factions out there.
Oh, you're true. That's true. And that'd be interesting. I mean, it'll be fun seeing how these three develop and see what Funcom does in the future, again with the getting to an expansion or including other content of what other societies are there, and because they talk about it a little bit, or they've said that these are just the three major societies, and like you alluded to with your question is there are sub societies or smaller societies that are there as well, just not as powerful or as well known. Yeah, it's an interesting twist on the whole what if the legends are real.
Yeah, because I mean, if they were to say put another faction in this game, I think in all honesty they probably would have something like a survivors faction where it's just people that are trying to get by. They don't belong to any groups.
Like a neutral.
Yeah, pretty much. They don't belong to any other groups. They're basically there watching after themselves and watching after people that are just like them.
Yeah, great. Well, do you have anything you want to close the show out before we jump into the closing credits?
Basically the same thing, man. If you guys enjoy listening to the podcast, please come back, listen to it again, listen to the new episodes that are coming out. If you think this is going to be a guild or something that you want to come join, put in an application.
Yeah, sure. We're happy to have you over in the Tempest Guild, and our website is tempestguild.us. We'll take you to the main page. It'll link you over. For everyone else, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. You can leave any feedback on our website, the secretcast.tempestgamecast.com. You can send an email to tempestgamecast@gmail.com, all one word. You can also follow us on Twitter at tempestgamecast. It's all of our podcasts are covered under the same one. If you're interested in joining Tempest Gaming Community, of course, visit tempestguild.us. I would like to thank our introductory story is written and voice acted by George Isaac Clark, one of our guild members for a long time, and that will be an ongoing story or series of stories that he's writing specifically for this show. Tonight's was fantastic, and I was really happy to. It's the debut, and I look forward to seeing how each of these short stories play out. And then the last thing is our recruiting videos are hosted on YouTube on our channel, the Tempest Game Community. Thank you for joining us, and have a great gaming week. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Indeed. See you guys then.